A farmer understands the needs of every season, and so do Farm Bureau members. When Arkansas families needed electricity, our members brought it. Reliable roads, our members built them. Agricultural education, our members provided. Today's members may not live on a farm, but their connections are as close as ever. So when that difficult season comes, no member has to face it alone. For every season, Arkansas Farm Bureau. Join today.
The Gillett Coon Supper, it's a fabled Arkansas political tradition, the first political gathering of the new year, although its purpose is far from politics in some respects. One of the event's biggest cheerleaders now joins us for a preview. He is Gabe Holmstrom, soon to be former Chief of Staff in the Arkansas House of Representatives and a former aide to Congressman Marion Barry, who had a lot to do with the prominence of the Gillett Coon Supper, which is January 10th, a week from yesterday.
Correct.
Right. All right. Welcome to the program.
Hey, it's good to be here, Roby.
Tell me, for folks who have never been to the Coon Supper before, why is it such a big deal?
Well, the Gillett Coon Supper, which is in the 72nd year, I believe, is one of these great events of Americana. You walk into an old school gymnasium. You got the hardwood floors. The basketball goals have been raised up into the ceiling, and then rows of seats, and then tables covered with white paper. The cooks, they've been working in the community for weeks planning this event. They've got their white coats on and the old-timey, ties that have the little deals that come down. And they put on a big feed, and in some years it's up to 800, 900 people. And I think it's close to 600 pounds of coon is what they actually serve.
Well, politicians from all walks of life like to come down there. They get to work the crowd, they get to give speeches, but it is more than just that. What is actually the Coon Supper benefits students in the area?
Well, before consolidation, the money that was raised by the Coon Supper that was put on by the Gillett Farmers and Businessmen's Club went to provide scholarships to the local students, and it also helped the local athletic program. Mm-hmm. So I mean, this is going back to the 1940s that this was going on. But I mean, yes, you're absolutely right. It is often considered to be a can't miss stop on the Arkansas political circuit. It's at the beginning of the year, so we'll probably see a couple candidates that are maybe sticking their toe in the water, thinking about what the world's going to look like in 2016. And you're right. Anytime, I guess the Arkansas political saying is anytime there's two people together, a politician is likely to show up.
Yeah, especially with food.
And especially with food.
Yeah.
Now this time you'll have 700-800 people in a room, so it's a very target-rich environment.
And then there's a pre-Coon Supper event too. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, my former boss, Congressman Marion Barry, who's from Gillett, which is a population of 600-700, depending on how you count it. For a long time, he lived across the street from the school, and then back in the 70s, a lot of the elected officials, they would come over to his house to see folks and before going over to the actual Coon Supper. Legend has it that Governor Beebe actually stopped by there, and by the time he left the congressman's pre-party, everybody in that party was wearing Beebe buttons, and his opponent dropped out of the race. So that party has been going on, and it's grown over the years. And when the congressman was in Congress, he used that as a fundraiser. And now that he's retired, his son Mitch Barry and a couple of the former staffers and Mitch's friends have gotten together and turned this into a scholarship fundraiser for a scholarship at Arkansas State University, in the congressman and his wife Carolyn's name.
All right, and best advice I would give someone who's thinking about going to the Coon Supper next Saturday, January 10th, is find the biggest piece of coon that you can, has the least amount of meat on it. When you're finished with it, it's sitting on your plate. Looks like you ate a big old plate full of coon. You really had the least amount that you possibly could.
Now, how many are you going to eat?
One, big boned one there.
Gotcha.
All right, he's Gabe Holmstrom with the Arkansas House of Representatives, big Gillett Coon Supper supporter. Thank you very much for being here.
Hey, thank you, Roby.
All right, and there's more on this event on our website at talkbusiness.net. Go there for more details. We're back to wrap up after this final word from our sponsors.